Hi everybody, it's Stacy with R&R Ranch. Today I have with me Bambi, and Bambi is our beautiful girl from the Humane Society. She was adopted in 2015, maybe 2016.
Yeah,
so we've had her for 4 years. 14 years old, or was she how old? I always get them confused. I have to look at their charts, but she's absolutely beautiful. I always say Bambi is every little girl's dream pony. She is as cute as they come. So she's going to stay with me for as long as we can manage, as long as she behaves being up here on the porch and doesn't get too bored. We'll keep her with us, okay? It's very, very hot out today. It's like 90 degrees, so that's why we found some shade that we could get under. Thank you for adjusting your day to have a little bit later start today. Our day got a little bit off this morning with having Belle out of pocket, so to speak, to run to an appointment. And so here we are. As always, if you miss a live episode of anything, it's going to be on our YouTube channel, which is R&R Ranch Minis. Okay, so I thought that today it would be very appropriate to read a book that is that's about all of the kids that are graduating from whatever grade they're in, whether they're in kindergarten, first grade, fifth grade, eighth grade, or the end of their high school career. I think that this book is very appropriate. A lot of you may know it. It's called Oh, the Places You Will Go by Dr. Seuss, one of his wonderful books. So just so that I can point out to you, the fame of Dr. Seuss books is that everything that he does rhymes, and they're silly rhymes. But this book has really, really good underlying meaning to it, and so bless you. And so if you pay attention to what the book really says, you're going to get a great meaning from it. Oh, the places you will go. Once we finish, I'm going to stay sitting right here. We're going to write a letter. You guys are going to learn if you've never written a handwritten letter. We're going to do that today. Bambi may or may not be with us for that. We'll see how she does. So with that, I'm going to show you the pages as we go along. Get my glasses. And let's start. Oh, the places you will go. Congratulations. Today is your day. You're off to great places. You're off and away. He looks pretty proud too, doesn't he? You'll look up and down streets. Look them over with care. About some you will say, I don't choose to go there. With your head full of brains and your shoes full of feet, you're too smart to go down any not so good street. And you may not find any you'll want to go down. In that case, of course, you'll head straight out of town. See? He's like, It doesn't look like a good street. No thanks. It's opener there in the wide open air. Look at all the places he's going to explore. Out there things can happen, and frequently do, to people as brainy and footsy as you. And when things start to happen, don't worry, don't stew. Just go right along. You'll start happening too. Oh, the places you will go. You'll be on your way up. You'll be seeing great sights. You'll join the high flyers who soar to high heights. You won't lag behind because you'll have all the speed. You'll pass the whole gang and you'll soon take the lead. Wherever you fly, you'll be the best of the best. Wherever you go, you will top all the rest. Except when you don't. Because sometimes you won't. I'm sorry to say, but sadly it's true, that bang-ups and hang-ups can happen to you. You can get all hung up in a prickly perch, and your gang will fly on. You'll be left in a lurch. You'll come down from that lurch with an unpleasant bump, and the chances are then that you'll be in a slump. And when you're in a slump, you're not in for much fun. Unslumping yourself is not easily done. You will come to a place where the streets are not marked. Some windows are lighted, but mostly they're dark. A place you could sprain both your elbow and chin. Do you dare stay out? Do you dare go in? How much can you lose? How much can you win? And if you go in, should you turn left or right? Or right and 3/4? Or maybe not quite? Or go around back and sneak in from behind? Simple it's not, I'm afraid you will find. For a mind maker-upper to make up his mind. With all these choices of where to go. You can get so confused that you'll start in to race down long wiggled roads at a breaknecking pace and grind on for miles across weirdish wild space, headed, I fear, toward a most useless place, the waiting place. That doesn't sound good. Let's see what that is. For people just waiting. Waiting for a train to go, or a bus to come, or a plane to go, or the mail to come, or the rain to go, or the phone to ring, or the snow to snow, or waiting around for a yes or a no, or waiting for their hair to grow. Everyone is just waiting. Waiting for the fish to bite, or waiting for the wind to fly a kite, or waiting around for a Friday night, or waiting perhaps for their Uncle Jake, or a pot to boil, or a better break, or a string of pearls, or a pair of pants, or a wig with curls, or another chance. Everyone is just waiting. No, that's not for you. Somehow you'll escape all that waiting and staying. You'll find the bright places where boom bands are playing. With banner flip-flapping, once more you'll ride high, ready for anything under the sky. Ready because you're that kind of guy. Oh, the places you'll go, there is fun to be done. There are points to be scored. There are games to be won. And the magical things you can do with that ball will make you the winningest winner of all. Fame. You'll be famous as famous can be, with the whole wide world watching you win on TV. Except when they don't. Because sometimes they won't. I'm afraid that sometimes you'll play lonely games too. Games you can't win because you'll play against you. All alone. Whether you like it or not, alone will be something you'll be quite a lot. And when you're alone, there's a very good chance you'll meet things that scare you right out of your pants. There are some down the road between hither and yon that can scare you so much you won't want to go on. But on you will go, though the weather be foul. On you will go, though your enemies prowl. On you will go, through the heck and cracks howl. Onward, up many a frightening creek, though your arms may get sore and your sneakers may leak. Little he is, looks pretty scary. And on you will hike. And I know you will hike far and face up to your problems, whatever they are. You'll get mixed up, of course, as you already know. You'll get mixed up with many strange birds as you go. So be sure when you step with care and great tact. And remember that life's a great balancing act. Just never forget to be dexterous and deft, and never mix up your right foot with your left. And you will succeed? Yes, you will indeed. 98 3/4% guaranteed. Kid, you'll move mountains. Look at him, moving that giant mountain all by himself. So be your name Buxom or Bixby or Bray or Mordecai Alley Van Allen O'Shea. You're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting. So get on your way. And that's the end. So for those of you that just are finishing one grade level of school, or maybe you're graduating high school, or maybe you've graduated college, or maybe you're an adult and you're still looking for the ways that you're going to go, everything has a different path. Some are good and not so good. And sometimes you just have to get through it and you'll make it your own way. So that's our book for today, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Dr. Seuss is a lot of fun. We'll read some more of his books. And now, as I promised, we're going to do something different today. We're going to learn how to write a letter. I think that writing letters is a very lost art. Most people communicate through technology. They text, maybe Bambi agrees. They text on their phone, they send emails, they do all kinds of communication on their phone or their laptop or their iPad or whatever it is, but not many people write letters anymore. And I can tell you from my own experience and from my kids' experience that there is nothing as exciting and more fun than to get a letter in the mail. So I'm going to get a few things out of my bag. Okay, it's right here. And I have a lot of stuff because I have a lot of things that I'm going to show you about writing letters. There's different ways to write them. There's different reasons to write them. And I want you to know that there is really no right or wrong way. When somebody puts something, their thoughts, down on paper and they handwrite it, that means something. It means something special to the person who is receiving that. It means that that person, somebody thought enough of you to take the time, sit down, and handwrite something to you rather than quickly banging it out on a computer. Okay, so now that I've got all of my stash out of my bag, that's a lot of stuff. The reason that I brought so much stuff is because you guys understand, I'm not a teacher, okay? So all I'm going to try to do is teach you how to write something and communicate with another person in a way that makes that other person feel good. And if you're lucky, they will sit down and they will write you a letter back and make you feel good. And when you go to the mailbox, you will be so excited to get a letter. All right. So if you're asking, well, what do I use to write my letter on? I don't have anything. I'm going to show you. That really doesn't matter. I have a lot of things that I like to use for writing. For example, these are note cards that you can buy. They come in packages, and this is small. There's no room to write on the back. So if I have just a little note that I want to send to someone, I'm going to use something like this maybe, and it comes with an envelope that fits it perfectly. So that's an option. And sometimes I just use a notepad and I'll jot down something, and I happen to really like notepads. And I use them for different reasons. So for example, this one has a picture of my bunny that I had named Walter. I will only use this for very special occasions because Walter was very special. So I can't talk too much so I don't cry again in this video. But I will send this mostly to my kids, and on occasion someone else may get a Walter note, and I will just tear it off, and that's how I do it. Some of you may have a Martha notepad, and it's the same thing. You can use this to write a letter, okay? I keep notepads of our dogs. I keep notepads of Franklin. I have notepads of Booker. Some of you may have gotten notes from me on these things. That is just one way to write a letter. Now, I also use something else like a lined sheet of paper. And if I don't want if I don't have a lot to say, I will use, this has banks on the front of it, and I will use something like this. Okay, so I'm not going to get too, you don't have to get very picky about how you write a letter, but I think notepads are fun. So for today, we are going to use, look at this, okay? If you guys have a computer at home, you have printer paper. You can write a letter on printer paper. It doesn't have lines, and so your writing may slant, and it may look all cockeyed, but to the person,
Oh, okay.
it doesn't matter. If your words go down a hill, it doesn't matter, okay? It's the thought truly that counts. All right. So I'm going to use a piece of lined paper just because it helps me write straighter. And we're going to do a quick letter. So I use a pen. You can use a pen or a pencil. Using a crayon sometimes is really hard because crayons get really fat and they don't write words very well. They they color really well. All right, so I have to find a page that's going to work. You see my notepad? Torn at the bottom, torn right here. That's from a little bunny in my room that finds my stuff named Franklin, and he chews up my stuff. So I'm going to turn the pages until I get to a good sheet, okay? Now, all you really need to know when you write a letter to a friend is that you need to put the date on it, and I'm not going to write in cursive. If you know how to write in cursive, that's a plus. So, there. So I'm going to put the date on it, and today is what, June 4th or June 3rd?
3rd.
Okay, June 3rd. So I'm going to write in the upper right-hand corner. I'm going to write the date, and it's June 3rd, and the year is 2020. Okay? Now, who am I going to write my letter to? I'm going to write it to my son. My son lives in New York, and I know he likes to get mail, even though he's a great big boy, 26 years old. I know he still likes to get mail from me. So I'm going to start it out. You can start it out a couple of ways. If you're writing a letter to someone that you don't know that well, you would want to use the word dear. That's a very traditional word. So you would say, his name is Spencer. You would say, dear Spencer. But he's my son. So I'm not going to be formal with him. I'm going to say, hi, honey. That's how I'm starting my letter. Now I'm going to put a comma. And then I'm going to put my opening sentence is going to be asking about him. Okay, I'm going to say, how are you? That's a question, so there's a question mark. How are you? I know your weather has been beautiful lately. Comma, I'm not done with that sentence. I know your weather's been beautiful lately. I wish I could say the same for us, but it's very hot! Exclamation point, very hot. So I've just gotten a little general chit chat. Now I'm going to say something about me. I have been reading books to kids on, scratch that out, I just made a mistake, I just scratched it, on Instagram lately, comma, and I love it. So now I just told him a little bit about me. Maybe I'm going to say I am outside with Bambi as we speak, and she has been a little noisy. So I just told him a little bit. So you can say another sentence, another 2 sentences, another 3 sentences, whatever else you want to say, okay? And then you want to finish your letter, and you want to say, that's all, you want to close it. That's all for now, honey. I sure do miss you. Stay well, and I can't wait to see you soon. Okay, I just gave him I wrapped it up. The letter is done. Now, again, if it's someone that you don't know, you're going to say from or sincerely. But in my case, it's my son, so I could say love, but I'm going to say all my love, comma, Mom. And I like to draw a little heart whenever I put my name. So that's what I wrote. And then what I would do is tear off. Oh, sorry, Bambi. Tear this off, and then I would fold it up and put it in an envelope. And there's all different sizes envelopes, okay? This one is a little different color, and it has an address already stamped on the back. This is for a little note card, maybe one of my smaller notes. This is a big one. so I can fit that in here. If you don't have a big envelope, you can use, see, that fits in there perfectly. But if you don't have a big envelope and you have a smaller one, I thought I had another size out here. I do. Okay, so that's more of another one. I would fold my letter up, and I might have to fold it down a little bit because this is a pretty big piece of paper, and then stick it in here. So you guys don't worry if you don't have stuff that coordinates with each other. And then you peel this off, and this one happens to automatically seal, so my letter is ready to be addressed. This one has to be licked, so I would have to lick this and then fold it over. All right. So once you do that, then you need to have a stamp. And the fun thing about stamps, you guys, is that stamps they come in all different denominations. That means they cost different amounts of money. And they can also have very plain ones, or they can have very fun ones. So I am showing you a couple of different ones. This is something that I used over the holidays when we sent out cards. You can see they have wreaths on them, and that was kind of wintry. You can see this is fun. These are Scooby-Doo stamps. They cost the same amount, but they're just kind of fun. So I saved these. You can see I don't have a whole sheet. I'll save them for when I have something really fun that I want to send out. These are postcards. So postcards don't cost as much as a letter. They are only for cards that are, say, you would put the address right on a card and it has no envelope. That's a postcard. Doesn't cost as much to mail. Oh, and then these are really fun, and these I really am stingy with. These are train stamps that I bought because my son loves trains. And so these cost, again, the same amount. All of these are stamps, and those can go on an envelope. All right, let's address. So I'm going to write my address on here, because if you send me a letter, I'm going to send you a letter back, and that's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm going to address this to myself, okay? I'm going to put the barn name on here instead of my name, because it's going to have a different address. So I'm going to write R and R Ranch. Okay, so this is just for fun. Then I'm going to put, there's always a street number and a street name. So next goes our number, and then our street name. Okay, well, I started to write our old address. Wild Horse Creek Road. And then you have to put the city, so you have to know the city of where you're sending your mail, and the state. Every state has two letters. That's the abbreviation. And then the zip code, and the zip code is what tells the post office where to send this. So that is how an envelope looks. Belle, wake up. That's how an envelope looks. And I'm going to show you one other way to do this. If you really like writing letters, and I do, and I like to write cards, Belle, and I like to write cards, I will use this. This is a template. So let me just show you guys how to use this. You probably want to stand over me, Belle, to see this. All right, so I put my template on here, and I'm going to write big letters, R and R Ranch. Okay, this gives me guides. Next goes my address, right? So it's 18222 And we have a very long address. Wild Horse, Horse, Creek, Creek Road. And then down here, I like the way it looks smaller. So then goes our city, Chesterfield, comma, Missouri, MO 63005. And you can see how that makes your letter look, which is kind of fun. Now, when you're writing your letter, you have to have a return address on it, because what if the mailman or the machines that read this address can't read it right and they don't know where it's supposed to go? Well, they need to send it back to you. And the place that you put your address goes in this area right here. It's supposed to go on the front left corner. So we'll put our stamp on first. Our stamp, I'm not going to use a good stamp, you guys. I'm going to use a postcard stamp, but this is where it goes. It goes in the upper right corner. Okay, there's my stamp. And then I would write our address right here. But there's a couple of things that I have. I have a stamp, and if that way I don't have to always write my address. And you can see how this works. Press it down, needs more ink, but it has my address already on there. Now, if I'm sending a letter and it's coming from me personally, I'm going to use these address labels that have our last name on it. It says the Rolfs with our address. If I'm sending something and it's coming from the barn, I'm going to use these because it says R&R Ranch and our address. And that's going to go in this upper left-hand corner. So I'm going to put this on here because I just want to... Oh, and we are almost done. So I'm going to put this on so you see how a letter looks. Okay? Has the stamp here, has the return address here, and it has the address of where it's going right here. So you're done. Unless you're like my mom, Belle's mama, and when she would send a letter to any of my kids, she would make it really fun and playful because they were getting mail. And that's a big deal for little kids especially. So, for that particular reason, you can put stickers on your letter. So look at, this is a sticker book that actually I made for Belle. I gave it to her as a present one year, I think for Christmas or your birthday.
No, my first dance recital, I think.
Your first dance recital. And it still has all these stickers in here. So if I wanted to, I could take off some of these heart stickers.
Oh, don't take them off.
I won't.
Okay.
And put heart stickers all over. If I wanted to, I could find these stars. Why don't you stand up so you can see? Show that really well. Okay. There's some Halloween stickers. Here's some Christmassy ones. Here's some flowers. Here's a bunch of more flowers and kind of wedding-ish. So you see there's all kinds. There's some fish over here and some suitcases, teddy bears, doctor stuff. You guys, you can make your envelope as fun as you want. And you know what happens when you make an envelope really fun? It really makes an impression on the person that's getting that mail. You took the time to really dress it up. And that person who receives it is going to recognize that. It's going to make them feel good, and they're going to keep it. And this won't get thrown away. So you see, you guys, letters are special. They're not coming from a computer. They're coming from you. And these are the things These are the things that people hold on to. So, that's that. Look at this. Look at how fun. How would you love it to receive an envelope that has that fun stuff on it? That's fun.
What's the name of those stickers?
I don't remember.
But is it on the back?
Lolly or... Oh, Mrs. Grossman. Mrs. Grossman. You guys, these are all stickers by Mrs. Grossman. Belle loved stickers when she was little, and this was a present for her.
Yes.
All right. So that's how you do it. If you want to be old-fashioned, like me, you still keep an old address book, and not everything is written in your phone. Look at how old this is.
Oh, God.
My book is out of the covers. It's that old. But it has phone numbers and addresses in here from people that are long gone. They are, they have moved. I will scratch out. Look at this one has scratched out. All these different phone numbers and addresses scratched out. But you know what? It's different, you guys. It's different than going to your phone and finding an address when you keep it in something that is going to really stand the test of time. And plus, it also gives you a nice memory when you look up and you see names from a long ago. So, that's how you write a letter. And just a reminder, this is our address for the barn, for the ranch. If you mail us a letter, I'm going to write you a letter back. And I'm going to send you something special. And it has to do with what we do here every week, reading books. So I hope you had fun today. And I will figure out what book we read next week. I thank you all for sending me so many suggestions. I thank those of you that have sent me books. I'm getting books galore, and that's wonderful because I honestly have a lot of my kids' books still packed up. And for all you moms out there that watch this without your kids, I hope you enjoyed it too.
We see you.
We see you. We love you. But this was fun, and I hope that I hope my mailbox is flooded with letters, because I would love nothing more than to sit down and write you a letter back. And Bambi.
One last thing. Someone wants to know where you got this.
Okay, so I don't remember. I buy a lot of stuff, honestly, off of like Instagram or, Instagram ads, and that's where I got this. This is called
Lettermate?
It's called Lettermate. It's called Lettermate, and it's awesome. Like, believe it or not, you guys, before the barn got really, really big and popular and everything, we used to send out big 8x10 glossies of Banks, because he was such a big popular horse for the relatively small following that we had at that time. And we would send out pictures of Banks to anyone that asked if it would make them happy, and give them a birthday wish or anything else. So everyone that I was sending out a letter to, it would go in a big envelope, because they were 8x10s, and I hand addressed every single one of them with this. Do you remember that, Belle?
Yes.
It took me forever.
And we slapped stickers all over them.
And we slapped stickers.
Okay. All right, everybody.
We slapped stickers all over them. And our packages, I think, looked fantastic. And I think they made the recipient feel really good. So, boys and girls, do not worry about if your envelopes have stickers on them or not, if they have an address label on them or not, a handwritten item, even. That's why I brought these out. I have written notes on little sticky notes and put them on if I'm sending a card to someone that has maybe a newspaper clipping, and I'll just write something on here. It does not matter. What matters is that it is handwritten and you took the time to do it. The person that you're receiving it from will love it. So you guys, thank you so much for joining us. This will be on our YouTube channel, probably by tomorrow morning, I'm guessing. And all of our other books readings are on there, and a bunch of other fun things. If you want to know more about Bambi right here, she's already got her episode up on the YouTube site. Everything on that channel is different than what we post on Instagram and Facebook. So while you're still maybe bored at home from the quarantine, go take a look through it, and I bet you there's something you're going to like. Thank you so much for joining us. We love you guys so much. It's unfathomable how much we're all connected, and we wish you a great rest of your day.